just 6 days ago they was in Galveston. Then she posted she cooking for him for Thanksgiving. Why would you do that? Then you put it in the trunk of a car, like a piece of trash. Like, she didn't deserve that.
In the early hours of November 28, 2020, a husband would kill his wife and stuff her body in her own car. At around 8 a.m., the Texas Department of Public Safety received a radio communication about a driver traveling at a high rate of speed and recklessly on Interstate 10 in Beaumont, Texas. But what should have been a routine traffic stop quickly turned into something far more sinister. When they attempted to pull the white Honda vehicle passenger car, the driver would suddenly speed off, resulting in a police chase. After crashing into a church's parking lot, the driver would be arrested. But it wasn't just the driver's reckless driving that had everyone on edge. It was what they would discover next that would shock investigators. They would find the lifeless body of a wife stuffed in the car. Upon investigation, they discovered the husband had killed his wife and had stuffed her body in her own car. The discovery was shocking, and immediately the investigation would suddenly turn into a homicide case. And heartbreakingly, this story isn't the first of its kind we've shared. Do you remember the case of 23-year-old Adriana Taylor? A woman full of warmth and dreams for the future. From the outside, her relationship looked like a fairy tale, but the man she loved would ultimately become her killer. If you missed that case, I'll link it at the end of this video. It's one that still haunts us. Now, let's look at the tragic life and death of Breonna Johnson.
Y'all won't believe the stupid ass shit that I just did. I left my whole purse at home, and I'm damn near to the doctor already.
Breonna Tierra Johnson, originally from Los Angeles, California, moved to Houston, Texas, where she built a life that reflected her love for creativity and people. Known for her kind, confident, and loving nature, Breonna had a way of making everyone around her feel special. Her bubbly personality was magnetic, and she easily formed deep connections with others. Whether it was a kind word, a helping hand, or just her infectious laughter, Breonna's presence brightened any room she entered. Her ability to connect with others became the heart of Breonna's life in Houston. A proud graduate of Texas Southern University, Breonna earned a degree in administration of justice, aligning with her strong belief in fairness and helping others. Breonna had always been deeply passionate about justice and equality, always standing up for what she believed was right. Even in her personal life, her sense of fairness guided her decisions and actions, as she sought to create harmony and positive change wherever she could. Yet the very values she held dear would soon be tested in ways no one could have imagined. Beyond her academic achievements, Breonna nurtured a passion for makeup and beauty. She found a creative outlet through her YouTube channel where she shared makeup tutorials, beauty tips, and pieces of her life.
So here I am with my first check-in. It's a little bit past the 4-hour mark. It's 2:15 right now. 2:15. My face hasn't gotten oily yet. I am starting to feel that, that very drying and like kind of itchy feeling. It isn't like, it's not a deal breaker or it's not unbearable. It's just something that I notice and I don't like. So other than that, it's all going fine. Nothing has changed. The makeup is still matte. It still looks the same. The lighting back here is kind of crappy. I would expect for it to be better. It's LED lights back here, but whatever. This is how I'm looking right now.
Her authenticity and warmth came through in every video, and she quickly built a loyal following. Breonna's natural talent for makeup was evident in her work, and she took pride in sharing tips and tricks that helped her followers feel more confident. Brianna had always been someone who loved to uplift others, and her channel became a space where her followers could connect with her and share in her joy. She was known for her down-to-earth nature, making her followers feel like friends rather than just viewers. But behind the vibrant and confident exterior, Brianna's life was about to face a tragic shift. In her last vlog, Brianna shared the simple yet beautiful moments of her life, including spending time with her boyfriend, 35-year-old Victor Charles Campbell Jr. She posted glimpses of their life together, from cooking dinner to going shopping.
Get those ones, baby. Yes. It's so hot outside. You got the keys, baby.
It was clear Brianna was full of happiness and contentment, making it clear that her relationship with Victor was a source of joy for her. Her warmth and affection for him were evident as she smiled, looking radiant and at peace. Little did she know, that would be the last time her followers would see her so full of promise. Her words and her smile in the video showed a woman who was full of life, love, and hope for the future. The quiet joy captured in that moment would be the last glimpse of Brianna's life before tragedy struck. Everything seemed perfect in that moment, with Brianna radiant and happy, looking forward to the life she was building with Victor. She had plans for the future, dreams of growing her career, continuing to inspire her followers, and enjoying the love and support of the people around her. Brianna was at the start of a new chapter, filled with possibility. However, her bright future would be overshadowed by the events that unfolded soon after the video, altering the course of her life forever. In the early hours of November 28, 2020, things would take a horrifying turn. The Texas Department of Public Safety received a radio communication about a reckless driver traveling at a high rate of speed on Interstate 10 in Beaumont, Texas. State troopers soon identified the vehicle. It was a white Honda passenger car and attempted to pull the driver over. But what should have been a routine traffic stop quickly turned into something far more sinister. The driver, later identified as 35-year-old Victor Campbell Jr. from Fresno, Texas, Brianna's boyfriend. He initially asked to pull over to the side of the road, but within seconds, Victor would speed off. It was obvious he was evading the police as he took off down the highway. Within moments, a brief police pursuit ensued, but it would end in disaster. After crashing into a church's parking lot, Victor's vehicle came to a stop and law enforcement took him into custody. But it wasn't just Victor's reckless driving that had everyone on edge. It was what they discovered next that would turn this case into a homicide. While performing an inventory check on the crashed Honda, troopers opened the trunk only to find the lifeless body of a young woman. It was Brianna Johnson. The discovery was shocking, and immediately the investigation turned to a suspected homicide. The initial shock was followed by questions. How had Brianna ended up in the trunk of Victor's car? Why had she been transported in such a gruesome way? Law enforcement suspicions grew even further as they began to piece together the details of the events leading up to the traffic stop. What was meant to be an ordinary stop had now turned into the discovery of a young woman's tragic end. As the investigation began, the timeline of Brianna's final moments started to take shape. In the days leading up to the morning of the pursuit, friends and family remembered Brianna as someone full of life, always radiating positivity and looking forward to her future. They described her as deeply loving, loyal, and as someone who had a bright future ahead of her. The realization that she had been killed in such a violent, unimaginable way left everyone stunned. While Victor Campbell was arrested and taken into custody, the community and Brianna's loved ones were left grappling with the cruel and senseless loss. They struggled to understand what had led to Brianna's tragic death and how someone she trusted could have caused such harm. The details that would unfold in the following days would paint a disturbing picture. Victor Campbell, who was taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries after the crash, was later booked into the Jefferson County Jail. His initial claims were that he had blacked out and had no recollection of the events that transpired before the crash. But investigators soon uncovered something unsettling. One of the most significant pieces of evidence came from surveillance cameras near Brianna's home in the Sunnyside neighborhood of Houston, which provided chilling insight into the events leading up to her death.
Developing tonight, a horrific story of a woman found and her body stuffed in the trunk of a car. And today, police searched her home in an attempt to find out exactly what happened. Tonight, we are also seeing a picture of the woman, Brianna Johnson, for the very first time. The people who knew her providing us with that picture. According to investigators, she is 28 years old. Channel 2's Rochelle Turner joins us live with more on the investigation. Rochelle?
Jonathan, as you mentioned, detectives spent the entire morning searching inside this home right here behind me. They found evidence from that car in Beaumont that led them to this residence, and through a search warrant, they found a dog, and they're also reviewing security footage to try and figure out what happened. Now, I do want to show you 28-year-old Brianna Tierra Johnson. Her body was found inside of a trunk following a car chase that ended in downtown Beaumont early Saturday morning. Officials identified the driver as Victor Charles Campbell, a 35-year-old man from Fresno. Detectives believe Johnson and Charles were dating, but it's unknown if they were in a relationship or just friends. Detectives are still trying to determine where the murder took place.
We found items on scene that could link the persons involved back to this address.
Campbell was transported to the Jefferson County Jail. He faces charges for felony evading arrest, driving while intoxicated, tampering with evidence, and abuse of a. And right now, detectives are just still working on this investigation. They're asking anyone with information to give Crime Stoppers a call. Reporting in South Houston, I'm Rochelle Turner, KPRC, Channel 2 News.
On November 27, 2020, surveillance footage captures Brianna arriving at her apartment at approximately 5:27 p.m. Later that evening, Victor is seen entering and leaving her apartment multiple times. At midnight, Victor is recorded covering a security camera, then backing Brianna's Honda closer to the apartment. He is seen lining the trunk with a blanket before seemingly placing something heavy inside. But the following day, things would take a different turn. Early on the morning of November 28, 2020, around 5:55 a.m., Victor was seen leaving Brianna's duplex in his Honda. According to the footage, he was seen backing up the car to her front door and with alarming calmness, placing Brianna's body into the trunk. The footage raised a crucial question. Why would Campbell, who had been seen with Brianna just hours before, suddenly act in such a disturbing manner? Not only that, it appeared that just hours before, Brianna had been alive. Her car was parked in front of her home, and she had arrived from a night out. The shocking video footage contradicted Victor's claims of a blackout and suggested that Brianna had been murdered before being stuffed into her own car. For friends and family, the discovery was nothing short of devastating. Many struggled to understand how someone Brianna had cared so deeply for, someone she had posted about on social media, cooked for, and shared gifts with, could be the person responsible for her death. Brianna's friends and family expressed their disbelief that the man she trusted and shared intimate moments with could betray her in such a horrific way. According to reports, just a few days prior to her death, Brianna had shared a post about a date night with Victor, symbolized by a heart emoji. The couple had seemed happy, and her followers on social media were led to believe that their relationship was going well. But behind closed doors, things were much darker than anyone could have imagined.
Family and friends are still working to process the death of this woman, Brianna Johnson. Her body was found inside the trunk of a car after a high-speed chase that started in Chambers County and ended near downtown Beaumont over the weekend. This fella right here, Victor Campbell, was the driver. He's currently behind bars while authorities continue to sort through this investigation. And as 12 News reporter James Grant shares, this all started around Houston.
Tonight, more questions than answers in the tragic death of a Texas Southern grad who was found in a car trunk following a high-speed chase that ended in downtown Beaumont.
This is a really interesting, bizarre case.
Tonight, few answers from Jefferson County's DA about how Brianna Johnson died. But 12 News has learned that he's working alongside Beaumont Police, Houston Police, and Texas Rangers, piecing together clues across at least 2 crime scenes.
We're working hard to gather the information we need to prosecute this case.
The prime suspect in the case, Victor Campbell, is being held at the Jefferson County Jail without bond. Brianna and Campbell were dating, according to friends, and they're struggling to understand what happened.
She was a very confident and educated black woman. She was the sweetest person that you would probably ever come across. She was just a beautiful person, just in general.
Tiffany Goodman, who attended college with Brianna Johnson at Texas Southern, says her should be a reminder to all of us to cherish our loved ones.
All we can do is try to, wrap our arms around our loved ones and our friends while they are here and love on each other while they're here.
Back in Beaumont, District Attorney Bob Wortham says Brianna's case highlights the recent uptick in violent crime in Southeast Texas. Crime that is putting stress on the courts.
It's just out of control. And the sad thing is we can't try cases right now. So the cases are just backing up, and it's going to be a real issue.
We are still waiting a news release from Houston Police about what they found after searching a home connected to this case. In Beaumont, James Grant, 12 News.
The discovery of Brianna's body was only the beginning of an unsettling journey into a seemingly ordinary relationship that turned deadly. But with his conflicting statements and the growing pile of evidence against him, the question remained, what truly happened in the hours leading up to Brianna's death? Further examination of the scene revealed that multiple traces of blood were found during the search of Brianna's apartment. These stains were consistent with a violent struggle, and the blood led investigators to believe that Brianna was attacked and killed inside her own home. But a witness had a different version of events. A woman who visited the apartment around 11 p.m. reports a strong smell of cleaning products and sees Victor, but not Brianna. The severity of the evidence painted a horrifying picture of what had happened to her. Her death was not a random act of violence, but something far more calculated. After his arrest, Victor's behavior and statements raised more suspicion. When questioned by detectives, he claimed that he had no recollection of the events surrounding Brianna's death. He said that he had blacked out and had no memory of what had happened the night before the chase. However, Victor's inability to recall the events was met with skepticism. His memory loss was conveniently selective, leaving out the crucial moments where he was seen loading Brianna's body into the trunk of his car. It was clear that Victor was either lying to cover his tracks or too detached to remember the heinous crime he had committed. What's more, he had injuries to his face and arms that seemed to suggest a physical altercation had taken place, possibly during the moments of violence that led to Brianna's death. Human scratch marks were visible on his body, and it was apparent that Brianna had fought back before being overpowered. Investigators quickly discovered that Victor had a history of domestic abuse, one that Brianna had likely been trying to escape. It was later revealed that Victor had been controlling and emotionally abusive toward Brianna. While they appeared happy on social media, Brianna had been hiding the true nature of their relationship. According to friends and family, Brianna had been making plans to move to Atlanta in the near future, possibly a sign that she was preparing to leave the abusive relationship behind. Unfortunately, she would never get the chance to make that move. For those who knew Brianna, the loss was unfathomable. She had been the kind of person who left an indelible mark on everyone she met. Her friends remembered her as sweet, caring, and always willing to help others. In their eyes, Brianna was someone who deserved the best, not the brutal end she had met at the hands of someone she loved.
As the investigation continued, Brianna's family and friends rallied together to seek justice. Brianna's aunt, Giovanna Johnson, started a GoFundMe page to help with funeral expenses. The page was filled with heartfelt messages from those who had been touched by Brianna's life. The community, devastated by the loss, banded together to support the family during this unimaginable time. But as they awaited justice, they knew one thing: nothing could bring Brianna back. They could only hope that her tragic death would serve as a catalyst for change. As of now, Victor Campbell is facing multiple charges, including murder, tampering with evidence, and abuse of a corpse. The police believe additional charges may be added as the investigation continues. Campbell is currently held without bond, but authorities are continuing to search for more clues that may help them build a stronger case against him. Brianna's family and friends are hopeful that justice will prevail, but they are also deeply aware of the flaws in the criminal justice system. The delay in cases like this is frustrating, but Brianna's family remains committed to seeing this case through to the end. They are calling on the public to come forward with any information that could help them. As the investigation into Brianna Johnson's tragic death continued, the question on everyone's mind was, would Victor Campbell face justice for the horrific crime he committed? With mounting evidence against him and his previous history of abuse, it seemed clear that his time in court was inevitable. But the journey to justice for Brianna and her family was far from easy. In December 2020, at his first court appearance, Victor's defense attorney argued that he was not in control of his actions during the night of the murder, claiming that Victor had been blacked out due to alcohol intoxication. However, the prosecution countered with the overwhelming evidence that painted a different picture. Victor was fully aware of his actions. The surveillance footage and his violent history left no doubt that the murder of Brianna was not a random act, but a deliberate and brutal attack. His bond was set at $300,000, and he is currently held at Jefferson Jail, awaiting the next steps in his legal proceedings. As Brianna's case went through the legal motions, her family and friends continued to grapple with the emotional aftermath. Brianna's death had left an irreplaceable hole in the lives of those who knew and loved her. The community in Houston, where Brianna had spent much of her life, rallied around her family, offering support and raising funds for her funeral. But for Brianna's loved ones, no amount of financial help could ever ease the pain of her loss. Despite the pain, Brianna's family found solace in the thought that they were not alone in their fight for justice. The outpouring of support from the community, both online and in person, gave them the strength they needed to continue. Though Brianna's death was a heartbreaking tragedy, her legacy continues to inspire change. In the wake of her murder, her family has become advocates for domestic violence awareness, working to educate others about the signs of abuse and the importance of leaving toxic relationships before it's too late. Brianna's case has been a rallying cry for victims of domestic violence everywhere. Her story has served as a powerful reminder that no one should have to endure abuse in silence, and that justice for victims is vital even if it takes time. Brianna Johnson's story serves as a stark reminder of the dangers of domestic violence and the importance of speaking up when something isn't right. Brianna, a woman who was full of life, creativity, and ambition, was taken too soon by someone who had no right to destroy her future. What do you think about it? Let us know in the comments below. And if you found this story intriguing, please like, share, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories like this.